The two most important points in any type of cooking, particularly for stir frying the Chinese way, are the temperature of the heat and the timing.
Hello, I'm Oliver Whitehead, the Fat Oaf. I'm a chef working in Devonshire, UK. This is going to be a video about stir frying, due to a very badass lecturer who made a request from my college.
When cooking anything from a different culture, it's really important to respect it and learn about why certain techniques are used. Otherwise, you'll end up disrespecting the culture and creating something that just isn't tasty. So, stir frying was first referenced in writings from the Eastern Han dynasty around 100 AD, and from there it grew in popularity around 500 AD. It was common to see it. The word for stir frying is chow, or the verb stir, I think, specifically. Now, it's important to understand that in the traditional Chinese kitchen, they usually don't have an oven installed. Usually, if you want something roasted or like heavily braised, something that requires an oven, you would go to a restaurant. That's part of what it would be for, or a bigger establishment. This gives a lot of bias to doing things in pans and in certain pots and stuff, and this is why stir frying gained so much relevance. So there are a few different ways to go about stir frying. I'll just list 3 simple methods now. So there's pure stir frying, where the ingredients aren't coated and they're just fried straight in the pan. You know, no coatings or nothing. It's good for most things, especially vegetables. Then you have soft stir frying, where ingredients are coated in batter or flour, usually corn flour mixtures. This is usually done to tender meats just to protect the outside and give them a good bit of crispiness. It's also common to have them quickly deep fried in the wok, and then they'll pour off the excess oil, reserve the meat to the side and stir fry it all together afterward. And then there's twice cooked stir frying. So for things like tougher cuts of meat, you really want them to be cooked beforehand, so they do. And once it's cooked beforehand, they can then use it for stir fries. For tougher cuts also, marination is quite an important step. It's also very important for flavour as well. So be ready to kind of consider what your ingredients need to be stir fried and what preparations you need to take.
Why am I qualified to talk about this?
Boom. So for a demonstration, we're going to make stir-fried oyster mushrooms in oyster sauce. First up, going to make some seasoned oil. Very important in Chinese cooking. Big restaurants, what they'll do is they'll get a lot of oil and they'll season it. And they'll keep on reusing the oil as long as, food's safe. And it gives a wonderful flavour, especially if it's been used a couple of times. You know, when you go to Burger King and you have their fries and you enjoy them quite a lot, it's because the oil's been used for multiple batches of fries. So we're just getting a piece of garlic, ginger even, and frying it till it's brown. Don't let it burn. And once that's that, we can simply take it off the heat, just let it cool down in the oil, and it's ready to go. Now you want a lovely round bottom wok, that's quite important. Also make sure it's seasoned well. There'll be a link in the description with a video explaining how to season. Very important. Alright, next up the ingredients. So of course, we have our classic oyster mushrooms, very delicious meaty flavour. Spring onions, we love them. A good cheeky pepper. We got some aromatics here. And of course, oyster sauce. We're also going to have some sesame oil, some rice wine, and of course some soy sauce, and some sesame oil at the end. So, in Chinese cooking, especially something like a stir fry, we want to cut everything to the same size. I'm doing these mushrooms in long, kind of thin strips. This is just to make sure that I can show off the nice mushroomness. And then I'm kind of using that as a template to cut everything else, such as the spring onions, and off camera I've also cut the peppers. Next up, the aromatics. I'm just going to cut these into very thin strips. I could mince them, but today I was kind of feeling the strips kind of vibe, you know? So preparation is incredibly important when stir frying. So we can start heating up the oil, and again you've got to be quick and fast. We're going to be waiting. You can see pan is smoking, nice and hot. I'm going to pour in the oil. The oil comes after the heat. Just going to give it a good swirl around like that. And a little bit excess, just going to pour it off back into our pan with the seasoned oil. Like so. And boom. We're going to see how long this takes, because if you spend too long stir fry, you might fuck something up, and that's not going to be very good. So, there's a timer at the bottom. I've also turned the volume up so you can get a good listen to how the vegetables sound. Just going to keep agitating every now and then, going on this stir. Wouldn't sit for a little bit because the mushrooms do get a bit of browning, which they look quite nice. Make sure to season it, obviously. A good toss. Make sure you get lots of motion. Nothing should be sticking. You see if you can walk, you've got plenty of oil in there. Lots of vegetation. And again, I'm just doing this on like a home cooker. You can definitely do it in a restaurant, or if you've got a wok burner, that's amazing. And we're just going to throw the onions in now, just been over a minute. These really do not need long, they just need to kind of soften up, let off of those beautiful aromas really. Compared to the mushrooms and the pepper, not long at all. We're going to quickly add in our aromatics. Again, literally just a couple seconds, just toss it around, get the heat through it, and boom, it's simple. Next we're going to add in our oyster sauce, classic base of the dish. Some soy sauce, some rice wine, and a dash of seasoning as well. I'm just going to give that a good old stir together, and boom, heat's off. 1 minute 57 on the heat. Now we're just going to give it a little stir around, residual heat, and we're going to finish it with a little bit of sesame oil just out of camera there. But 1 minute 57 to have this cooked. Any longer than 3 minutes, and you're just stewing or sauteing. And now you get to watch me beautifully place this onto the plate with the most precision in the world, only dropping 3 pieces onto the chopping board. A bit long time filming this. But bon appetit, it's a lovely stir fry of oyster mushrooms. And again, it's got to be quick and heat. You're controlling the temperature and the time. Thank you for watching, and have a good day.